Manora is a small peninsula located just south of the port of Karachi. Manora and neighboring islands form a protective barrier between Karachi harbour to the north and the Arabian Sea to the south.
The research design approach employed was mainly through four directions. The literature review consisted of online sources such as articles, journals, books, and exploring the archives of NED, Indus Valley School and Dawood University. The second method was through on-site observations. Thirdly, interviews were conducted with officials, locals, fishermen, and construction workers. Fourthly, chronological mapping showed the evolution in the ecological environment of Manora. Ecology is integral in ensuring that people understand the impact of their actions on the life of the planet as well as on each other. The vegetation of the island has evolved over time. While the island is native to a few species, new species of flora have also been introduced. The mangroves make up an integral and vital part of the diverse ecology of the island. The sea around Manora is rich with marine life, while the coastline hosts a great variety of migratory birds and some native species. All of these lead to an affected marine life, an imbalanced ecosystem, and ecological disturbances. Over the years, Manora has faced a number of disasters, both man-made and natural, drastically impacting the island.
Manora, an island in close proximity to Karachi, has a glorious history. A road connects the island to the metropolis of Karachi, transforming it into a peninsula. The Karachi Port Trust, established by the British, was a regulating body tasked with governing the port and other related activities. Because the British had the leisure areas, It required a municipal body, namely the Manora Cantonment Board, which is still in full operation. In addition, the Pakistan Navy maintains a facility in Manora for the defense and security. It is divided into 3 sections that run the length of the island: PNS Himalaya, PNS Rehbar, and PNS Qasim. Manora's stakeholders are the 3 governing authorities, namely the KPT, Manora Cantonment, and Pakistan Navy. Before the subcontinent was partitioned, a small island called Salehabad, adjacent to Manora, was populated by fishermen and their families. Because of the land reclamation activities, this island is now a part of Manora and is connected through land. Salehabad is split into 2 parts, New Salehabad and Old Salehabad. Manora's land division among the stakeholders has resulted in a fragmented infrastructure as well. The CME department supplies power along the KPT region. MES supplies power along the Cantonment Board area and Navy zone, and K Electric supplies power along the Salehabad region. Manora nonetheless has a scarcity of pure water. Water is now provided by water bowsers, city water tankers, and a water filtration facility. Unfortunately, the entire Manora's sewage disposal ends up in the sea. However, some stakeholders have taken action to remedy the issue. By installing septic tanks, the Manora Cantonment is in charge of the entire Manora's solid waste disposal. They gather the garbage and deposit it in a trench near New Salehabad. All stakeholders join together to ensure the island's security. The Port Security Force and the Navy work together to achieve this purpose. Manora, which is currently considered a peninsula, also has a land connection to Karachi. Manora can currently be reached via 3 different means of access: by water, air, and land. The voyage begins in Kemari Boating Basin, where a ferry service and a few private boats are available. The KPT provides ferry transportation for its employees' daily commutes. It is completely free to use. Private boats, on the other hand, are also present. Aside from that, the Navy and KDA have their own private boats. Manora is also reachable through air. Given that the Navy has a facility at Manora, a few helipads are also there, which are utilized for air transportation. A route that runs from Maripur to Sandspit connects Manora to the city through land. This road, known as the Manora Driveway Road, is the only major road on the island. The roads in Manora may be classified into 2 types based on the material utilized. The roads around Navy zones are adequately asphalted. The remaining roads, on the other hand, are concrete paved. There are no such traffic lights or designated lanes along the roadways. Manora's transportation options are primarily limited to bikes and rickshaws. Visitors travel to the beach in Suzukis and Chingchis. The Suzukis and Chingchis, managed by a contractor-based management, charge a fixed amount of 30 rupees per passenger. Locals frequently use bikes to commute inside Manora. Cars, on the other hand, are used by a small percentage of the population. Development of the new Manora Beach Park has increased the island's popularity.
Buildings define spaces of a city, its character, and reflect the stories of its residents. At its root, Manora's built fabric stands as an expression of its rich history. Manora is a group of islands that includes Jarna Island, Shamspe, and Bandal Island. Moreover, the harbor's western bay features endangered mangrove forests, which helps to protect and sustain the area's natural biodiversity. The island is primarily divided into 3 major divisions, that is, Salehabad, KPT, and naval areas. Manora's overall land use comprises of residences, amenities, commercial, mixed use, industries, warehouses, open parks, and ground. Moreover, the variation in building heights is minimal, resulting in visual permeability and a spacious and consistent. The spatial organization affects the architectural forms and influences Manora's overall build composition. The skyline reflects the transition from historic to contemporary construction, resulting in a juxtaposition of old and new built form. KPT owns the vast majority of the constructed fabric. Primarily, these built structures are mostly owned by the locals and often rented within the families and relatives. In terms of functional characteristics, the white spaces systems in Manora Island can be divided into 3 types. There are predominantly kacha elements seen along with some of the houses of Old Salehabad, but the majority of the structures are pakka. In humanizing the scale of the place, sensorial attributes play an important role. The scent of the sea and salty waters are commonly associated with the location and form a powerful perception, although Salehabad has a much stagnant odor in the air due to the port standing waters. Imageability and views form correlation with orientation, and thus it anchors to the geography and avoids uncertainty or a feeling of loss. Formal urban furniture contributes to the creation of a more livable atmosphere. We analyze seating, barricades, CCTV cameras, signages, bollards, street lights, and guard rooms. As a result, informal furniture was employed to fill the void, resulting in a totally user-controlled setting that encourages the use of urban design features such as water coolers, canopies, contribution boxes, and push carts. An analysis of KPT street activities suggests low build density, reducing opportunity for social interaction, forming relatively vacant urban spaces and streets, but corridors of commercial activities, food streets, and bettings are active social gathering spots. The traffic too remains limited here. The old Salehabad is relatively an active area, which makes it easily distinctive, with a greater number of people and children playing, vendors selling, utilizing the ground floors for the shops, and informal furniture, forming social and interactive spaces. The area is distinctive, being a new development, and hence it has less congestion, with primarily children accumulating the streets for playing, along with certain corridors for commercial activities and buttocks for the locals. Building type varies throughout Manora, much like the street character. With the use of passive design principles, old Salehabad houses are placed in clusters of 2 to 3 rooms, housing at least 22 family members. The constructed typology of KPT, however, is symmetrical, balanced, and outwardly accessible. The variety of materials utilized within an urban environment can sometimes add to the space's character and visuality. The KPT comprises concrete embedded in gizri stone structures. Salehabad is a colorful blend of ornate plasters with windows and door details and brilliant concrete hues. Meanwhile, the naval structures have traditional timber gable roofs with concrete masonry, crafted flooring, and cut stone aesthetics. Architectural elements define the essence of a location. Windows, facades, balconies, corridors, and stairwells are all features that draw attention to the built form. Manora has a rich historical and cultural background. The montage thus represents these pre- and post-colonial structures, including the St. Anthony's Chapel that dates back to the 1920s and was used as a school, while the Karachi Yacht Clubs date back to the 1880 and the building remains abandoned now. The Watchtower, Shri Guru Nanak Gurdwara, KPT Observatory, and the Harbour's apartments and bungalows are amongst other such buildings, some of which are still functional, while others remain completely neglected.
The following part showcases the socio-economic aspect of Manora Island, later transformed into a peninsula. Comparing from the extended map of Karachi, the population of Manora is less than 0.4%, whereas the census data illustrates a harmonious increment than a sudden downturn. Concurrently, the reasons analyzed on the basis of sample size were mainly golden handshake, absence of basic utilities, and educational facilities in the area. As witnessed by the site surveys and interviews, we have documented a versatile amount of ethnic variety. The forthcoming combo of the mapping and bar charts links the data firmly to the area density of such ethnicities in particular zones. Data is competent to prove the logistics in all 3 living setups, whereas the 4 major religious groups, Christians, Muslims, Hindus, and Sikh, and their respective worship places are also established. Profiles exhibit the middle-class lifestyles and hustle-bustle happening in the streets, and the open grounds wisely mapped out on the dating spaces for children or people to sit by, and either free-flowing streets are active with social influx. Whereas the opposite is witnessed in old Salehabad, that is the evident class difference and the drastic change in lifestyle since the social infrastructure provided is in deteriorating condition. There's an apparent diversity in socio-economic status where old Salehabad, new Salehabad, and KPT people are arranged, whereby lesser number of earners are fulfilling greater extent of household essentials. Very static economic division is consistent in Manora. Income sources of this compact yet comprehensive sort of a town had a vast range as sampled through the interviews. The major profession of the people was no doubt affiliated with fishing or as small businesses, whereas the cultural yearly events also accentuate local economy. Manora has two different variations in their education system in terms of perceptions, views, and provision of facilities. Nishan Masih, a social worker from Old Salehabad, explained that these children of this area are not very inclined towards the acquisition of education due to the unawareness, poverty, and lack of basic facilities. While the Vice Principal of FG Public School, Mr. Nadeem Ejaz, explained that with a minimum fee structure of Rs 550, children in the area have received at least secondary education. Provided with all basic facilities, the students tend to execute better social behavior in a group of people. Long delays or complete inaccessibility of primary and advanced healthcare facilities is a major cause of death in the area. However, by interviews it was acknowledged that there is a private Navy hospital which works 24/7 providing services to ill people. Some private clinics are also located in New Salehabad which are open in the evenings by the doctors coming from the city. A lady called Ruxana explained that the common health issues in the area, especially that of Old Salehabad, are heart attacks and deaths during the childbirth. Manora serves as a perfect recreational space for not only locals but tourists and visitors as well. In their journey to reach the breathtaking views of the sea, people encounter monuments and landmarks which hold historical, national, and cultural values, inflicting people with nostalgia and emotions, giving them memories that they would hold within their hearts for life.
In conclusion, the research and study conducted on Manora Island exhibits great potential for future projects. Thus, the vision here is to propose eco-tourism within the realm of inclusive development.